calling foods processed foods is really kind of a cop-out and basically just an excuse to be ignorant when it comes to nutrition. And the reason I say that is because the majority of the foods that we eat are processed. And when people use that term, they will be hypocritical with it, meaning they will demonize one food for being processed while eating another food that is just as heavily processed and claiming that it's not processed. Okay, and even when we're talking about whole foods can still be processed to some degree. And I'm gonna give you guys an example and explain what I mean by when we say, minimally processed. We're talking about foods that have retained good nutritional value, or they haven't had a lot of things added to them that are detrimental to your health. Okay, and that's what we're talking about. And realistically, most of the things that people are concerned about being really detrimental to your health aren't in the foods that you're even calling processed. If you're eating a food with 27 ingredients, yes. But a lot of times people are saying, oh, this process got calcium chloride added to it, calcium citrate, or it's like, guys, that's calcium. If you're going and taking a calcium supplement from the store, you're literally taking that substance. And oftentimes that's a preservative, and it's not a preservative linked to health problems. Okay, that's a perfect example. All right. People worry about the wrong things, whereas in what they should be worried about, they don't need to worry about trans fats anymore, because all the trans fats that are added to food are man-made or now illegal in the United States. Now, before people chime in about their own countries, I can't make videos for the entire world. I can't research 57 countries and tell you the laws for them and discuss that in every video. I can't. I can tell you in the United States it is now illegal. All the trans fats that you eat now in the U.S. are coming from natural sources, and it's pretty much from your meat and dairy. High-fat animal products are literally the only source of trans fat you're going to be able to legally eat in America now. And that's a significant source, particularly because we fatten up our animals, right? We fatten up our livestock before we eat them. Okay, and that is not any sort of extremist statement. I am simply telling you the biological and legal facts. What you choose to do with that is your own business, but those are the facts. It is illegal to add trans fats to food, therefore all of it's occurring in foods that are relatively whole, and they're exacerbated by the way we raise those animals. All right, now that being said, but grass-fed doesn't eliminate it. People will say, why you eat grass-fed butter? Yeah, that's loaded full of trans fat. Sorry, it just is. Don't take my word for it. Go research it yourself. Look up the data on it. All right, but that aside, everything is processed. Cooking is a process. Right? But people will say, but cooking is good. Right, because not all processing is bad. Do you see where I'm going with this, of why it's a silly statement to say that a food is processed? Well, a lot of foods are safer for us to eat when processed. I mean, the same people who will talk about, oh, I'm scared of anti-nutrients in grains. If you just cook grains, that problem goes away. Quit eating your grains raw. Right? The problem solved. Process it. See where we're going with this? Most foods are safer cooked. There are exceptions. Many foods improve the nutritional value. It's the reason I'm against the whole raw milk thing. It's insane. It is taking a risk for no health benefit. There is no documented health benefit. And it's not big business. The dairy industry wants to charge you more, but they don't charge you more. That's the standard price, right? Because pasteurization costs them money. If they could get away with it, of course they would. If they could not be sued and we remove pasteurization, of course they'd love to remove it. Why? Because it costs them money to pasteurize it. Right? So be realistic. Right? It saves lives to pasteurize it. You cook meat because, well, a lot of it's nutritionally more bioavailable for us, and to kill bacteria. With a lot of plants, cooking improves nutrient value. Okay, for many of them, it makes foods more, different processing makes foods more bioavailable. Right? The cow is processed heavily before you eat. It's called a meat processing plant. Then you cook it, that's processing. Most of our crops are selectively bred through agriculture. That's a heavy modification. We've created superfoods. Okay, so this whole idea that because something has been processed, that's not a bad thing. If the only thing that's been done is it's been milled a little bit and then pressed and, some sort of safe preservative added, some sort of salt, right? We're not talking some of the other crazy stuff with BPCs and things. There are some concerns, absolutely. But really, what are the processes we don't want? What we don't want is a bunch of extra fat added and a bunch of extra refined sugar. So when we're really talking about processed foods, it's, so we've stripped nutritional value out and we've added a bunch of refined sugar, or we've added a bunch of fat. And I don't care whether that's vegetable oil or shortening or butter. You're adding a bunch of refined fats. Okay, that's not good processing. That's not desirable. Do you see where we're going with this? But just saying because something is processed as bad is silly, unless it is heavily stripped nutrients from it. But a perfect example, okay, butter has had tons of nutrients stripped out. A lot of vegetable oils have had a bunch of nutrients stripped out. We've stripped out fiber. We've stripped out phytonutrients. Yes, they have lost nutritional value. Well, we obviously don't want that. That's not ideal. The same thing with butter. You've stripped all the protein and the calcium and the magnesium and all that good stuff out of it just to concentrate the saturated fat. Well, that's not good either, right? In that case, when we have stripped significant, enormous amounts of beneficial nutritional value, that is not good processing. When we have added things that are problematic, such as extra refined fats, extra refined sugars, that's problematic. Okay? But processing in and of itself can oftentimes be a positive thing. So we need to know specifically what the process is. You don't just use it as a cop-out, because almost everything that you eat is processed. And if it's not processed, it's probably been selectively bred, even if you're eating it in the raw, whole form. Okay? And a whole food is something that has largely retained its nutritional value and has high quality nutrition and doesn't have a bunch of junk added. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.